Hey Gemini, what's up? We're here with your reading for mid-June. The first card that we have out is the Death card. I was also seeing this in the pre-shuffle. Seeing High Priestess here as well. Alright, starting off with the Death card shows you going through a big change right now. You can feel like something is shifting very drastically. Having the High Priestess is about spending time tuning in to make sure that you're connecting with yourself through this process, because it's kind of like an invisible guide as you move through, like a part of yourself that you're connecting with that's leading the way here, like calling you in certain directions. All right. It looks like you are disconnecting from something here. This can be something that you had a hard time pulling away from, that now you could feel like you're yanking yourself out of this. Something may have gone down that reflected this back to you, and you were like, wow, this has a lot of control over me, and that could have been the point where you were like, I don't want that to be happening anymore. So it feels like you're taking back your autonomy in a way that maybe you felt like a situation was curbing that for you. So you feel like it's going to free you up rather than this being something that has so much power over you. Having the Tower is feeling like, having High Priestess and the Tower can feel like something is bubbling up, but it can be something that you weren't ready for before, that now you can't look away from, because it's like it's here and it can't be ignored anymore. And I do feel like, even though this can be a very severe force that's being experienced, at the same time, it can be something that really breaks the chain for you. So rather than you being in a spot where you could feel like something kept yanking on you, I feel you definitely energetically breaking away from something that before you could have felt like maybe not even as aware of how much control this was having, or like how much this was influencing you. You can be in the process of all of this too. Like this, I'm not seeing this be a done deal. It feels like a lot is going on, and all of the 4 cards that we have so far are major arcanas. We have Death, High Priestess, the Tower, the Devil. So that's a lot of energy that's coming out. So you can feel like things are getting very, very, very intense. Things that nurture and support your internal world are going to be important. Some of you, this is about connections that you have to lean on. Support system, support network, those types of things. So in the top row, I'm seeing there be intense energies that you're going through. So you can feel like you're really being shaken around, like a lot of stuff is coming up, and it can feel kind of like energetically violent, but it can also be something that's going to feel like a rapture of some sort, energetically speaking. Now, coming down to the next level of things, having Page of Cups and having 3 of Cups, Page of Cups feels like the soft inside of things for you. And the part of you that maybe like externally I'm going through all of this wild stuff right now, but internally there's this part of me that I feel like is really delicate, and nurturing it at this point in time is going to be really like finding a safe space for that part of yourself that's like this very like pure space of feeling and intuition and emotions, like that part of yourself. Being around those that are supportive of that. I'm hearing keen. It feels like this little part of you that you connect with that can be very impacted by things, you know, like very influenced by things, but a very pure part of yourself. Having 3 of Cups is like the people around you that will support and encourage that and nurture that part of yourself. So it means like sticking around relationships that feel like they are nurturing you, that feel like they're supporting you. So it means like gravitating in that direction, because as you're going through something intense, you need another aspect that's going to anchor you emotionally. It feels like that's what this is all about, like the balance of like intensity and then something that feels grounding. because there could be like a lot of turmoil that's happening right now. You're going through the end of something. This shakeup is soon to come to an end. It's going to close something out, but it's also, when it closes out, it's going to liberate you from something that you may not have realized how much this was impeding on your freedom. This can even be a mentality. It looks like you've been working on closing out this cycle. Having 10 of Swords and having 8 of Pentacles shows that there's a cycle that's coming to an end. 8 of Pentacles requires you to show up and put the work in order for this to close out fully, meaning like you're really going to have to apply yourself, but it's all stuff that you're capable of doing here. But you can also feel too like you have to depend on yourself, or you have to rely on yourself, because there's nothing externally to rely on. So you can feel like I gotta do this myself, but also too you're gaining like a skill set as you move through this as well. So you can feel like even though I'm liberated from this thing, I'm not like finding comfort in it anymore. But at the same time, you can be like, but wow, look at me doing this on my own. So it can kind of feel like difficult and easy at the same time, or a blessing and a curse at the same time. Something about duality. Because when you don't have that attachment to the devil anymore, like whatever that thing was, you're like, wow, I'm free. But at the same time, it's like, wow, I'm free, so I have to figure this out. And so that part can be difficult and also simultaneously liberating. Because you can feel like you're the one influencing yourself now. Having Tower and 10 of Swords can be a very abrupt end to something. All right, I'm seeing you moving forward. This can be something that's going to happen all throughout, like from mid-June until the end. Stuff that you're realizing, stuff that you're seeing, things calming down, things settling down. Now I'm seeing the Lovers, which means that you can be in a spot where it feels like you were in the middle of an ocean on a ship, and it was like rocking back and forth like crazy, and you didn't know if it was going to tip over, what was going to happen. But then everything gets very calm and gets very still as you move forward. Having 6 of Swords and having the Lovers means that you're moving to a better place. You're moving to a place that feels more stable mentally, that it's going to feel better. Like I got through the storm and now I'm moving forward. And to see the Lovers, it brings the focus onto a relationship with you and someone else. A close relationship. This would be a significant relationship in your life. There can be some patching up that's happening. Feels like things get better, smoothing out, and it feels then like you feel you can relax, but I'm seeing it be very opposite to what was going on in the beginning of this. Because to have the Tower, it's like a very abrupt shakeup that ends up happening, and you can feel like something comes to light that you weren't necessarily aware of, or wasn't being acknowledged before, or it was difficult to see until this point, but it makes it very obvious for you. So that happens in the beginning, and the Death card can be like, I'm going through the middle of something right now that feels very intense. And you can feel too like this is like riling you up emotionally, or there's just a lot of stuff that's coming up emotionally. Stuff from the past can also come up too. And then having Mars can be a bit more of an aggressive energy. The way that things take place, the way that things happen. And having the moon right next to Mars with High Priestess in the tower can be like things that you feel very, very sensitive about, it being like roughed around. So it can be like the part of you that feels most delicate and most sensitive. Having the tower next to it is like having like a spot on your body that's really sensitive. Even to the slightest touch, it like brings up pain because it's really sensitive. The tower coming through is like a really hard slap, but it can feel like that happening energetically. But it's actually to get these chains like broken off of you. So it's something that's going to help you, but it can feel really painful going through the process of this, because it can be something that was really like sunken within you, but is getting like ripped out. And even though that's going to heal, in the moment where it's being ripped out, it can feel very painful. And then you can be like really missing what that was that you were connected to, even if it's something that wasn't the healthiest for you or wasn't supposed to be there. Like that type of thing. But then when we get to the end of the spread, I'm seeing things be like you're out of the storm then. So I don't think that this lasts very long. It feels like it happens. It's been a building energy. It's really, really intense. But then at the end of the spread, I'm seeing things calm down and feel like the complete opposite of what was going on in the beginning of this. So just know that if things haven't calmed down yet, they're soon to be calming down. Because 10 of Swords mean, and that happens in the middle of this, 10 of Swords is things closing out. So that being the end of that is going to be finished. You can still feel riled up about this. Having 4 of Swords is meant to be a time when there is like letting the guard down and relaxing and centering and like nourishing yourself and doing what you need to do for your mental health. But then having 5 of Swords next to it can be like something actually may not be finished yet, or you can feel a part of yourself that's like not actually ready to settle down. But it feels like being on guard because of going through something that feels very extreme. Going from 4 of Swords to 5 of Swords can feel like there's nothing that you need to be on guard about, but you can still feel like you can't turn it off. But that can also be a part of yourself that you're working with here. Having 5 of Swords too, if this is your own energy, this can be like kind of vengeful sometimes. It can be a part of you that's like your ego being like, now I have to win within this situation, you know? It can feel like things are fine, but now it's my turn to rile things up, you know, like that sort of thing. So I'm just seeing it be like something to be mindful of here, because there can be a part of you that feels like you haven't fully worked through something mentally, and you can still be feeling a type of way about it because of how you still feel unadjusted to something intense that's going on. Like the Death card is necessary change coming through in order for you to evolve, but it can be feeling painful, challenging, difficult, psychologically very challenging. Having 5 of Swords is your ego being like, I'm gonna fight this so it doesn't have to happen because I want to stay comfortable and I don't want to have to change and I don't want to have to surrender. So it can be this part of your ego that's clashing with a part of your spirit that's like, we're supposed to be shifting now, we're supposed to be moving now, but there can be a part of you that, like your ego, that has a lot of will and is like, I'm gonna fight this. But the Death card coming through, it's like the more you fight it, the more intense this is going to be. So it will like eventually pummel you if you keep fighting with it like this. But it also means that there's going to be, Five of Swords means that there's going to be a shift mentally that takes place. Five of Swords can also be bringing to light too, where you're not necessarily open to the energies that are happening in whatever way they come through. But you can be aiming that at the catalyst and being like, you're the thing that I'm aiming my anger at, or my like willingness to fight, you know, that type of thing, or my mental energy, because I don't like that something's coming through and changing things up. But again, like, it's coming through to benefit you. Like, this is definitely meant to be helpful, but your ego is like, no, I'll step up and I'll take care of it. So something to be mindful of as you move through this. I do feel like there are a lot of realizations that are going to be being made. And I think too that once you get to a point, you're going to realize that this is actually freeing you from something. Like, this change was necessary, because it seems like something that could have been like very detrimental to you had been going on. And the Death card is like, come on, you're done with that. Like, you don't need to keep going through this anymore, but it can mean that something's going to change then. And there can be a part of you that wants to fight that. This can be working with your ego through this process. You know, like telling yourself that you're safe and grounding your energy rather than creating more problems or issues than need to be, you know? Because you can definitely feel, like, if you're tuning in a space of awareness, you're gonna know when you're in a spot where you're not feeling yourself, where you could be feeling triggered, and do something that you feel like is not reflective of your true character, but coming from a place of you being on the defense. And then potentially taking an offensive stance, but that doing something that's going to do more harm than good. Because having Four of Swords in the Lovers means like things going back to coming into center and being in a space where things are good again. But Five of Swords is like, but I almost can't let it be, you know? It's like when somebody goes through something and they feel kind of traumatized going through what they go through, they can then be in a safe environment, but then their their nervous system hasn't calmed down because of not regulating. And so staying on guard, like staying vigilant, and then problems happen because of that. So I think too, like, nervous system regulation can be something here. Maybe some of you could be seeing somebody that's gonna help. Like, you could be seeing a therapist or something like that that'll help you move through this. Because at the bottom of this, I will say again, at the top, I'm seeing you go through something intense that sort of cultivates this part of you to be activated. But then at the end, I'm seeing things be calmed down, but that part of you that's activated, it's like it won't shut off, even though nothing's a threat anymore. So it's gonna be about regulating to get that part of you to like turn the armor off, to settle down. So that's what I'm seeing is going on. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.